Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, December 16, 2016, 12:13 a.m. in Birmingham, and the topic is, we are this close to having Damascus leveled, and it's biblical. In the end days, it says that Damascus will cease to be any other than a ruinous heap. And it says that Egypt will be flooded for a time of 40 years. And a lot of people, Avi Lipkin, for one, he's really big and has a great story about this, which is a true story, that indicates that millions, probably 60 million plus, will leave Egypt and will come to the United States. I'm going to say this and go out on a limb and say it. I can't see Egypt being laid waste or underwater until after the rapture of the church. And that means the ASWAN High Dam took a direct nuclear hit in order for it to break, and that causes the flood of all of Egypt. Not even a blade of grass will grow, not even a mosquito. I mean, nothing will live. And it's just like the Dead Sea, nothing will live in that place for 40 years. That is a punishment to the Egyptians. But right now, prophecy alert, Aleppo is falling. They keep saying, well, they got part of it back and then they lost it again. They got part of it back and lost it again. Well, ISIS, part ISIS, but anyway, Aleppo, it appears that it is falling, that is going to be taken over. You have Iran, who are the Sunni, and the rest, the division between the two, they each want the caliphate. Saudi Arabia and Egypt won't sit along with Syria. And then you have Syria and you have Turkey, and then you have Iran and their allies. So it's the Sunni and the Shia. So that's what it is. But over the two of them, between the two of them, Aleppo is going to be destroyed. But Damascus is already halfway destroyed. They will finish Damascus off because the fight will be carried on into Damascus. And so we'll see that happen in the near future. And but I believe before the rapture of the church, we will see Damascus fall, but I do not believe we will see Egypt being laid waste, because I think that'll come again at a later time. I don't know how that works out with the timing, with the rapture of the church and the 7-year tribulation, and then everything being over, more or less. But that can only draw one conclusion, meaning there has to be a time, a length of time between the rapture of the church and the people that have been flooded out of Egypt and have returned. The rapture of the church could happen, and it may be 40 years before the 7-year tribulation will begin. I mean, look, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I've never heard anyone bring up why would it be laid waste and why would these people come to America? Because with Donald Trump here, they're not coming. But when they do come, they'll be coming with money. And they'll be buying everything that's for sale, dwelling-wise. And they'll be starting up new shops, new stores. Now, that would be good for this country as long as they left ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all these other junkies back somewhere else and didn't bring them. But just be prepared to hear one day, and it could be soon, that Damascus will be destroyed. And once it is, Damascus will never again, ever, not in your history, our history, your lifetime, my lifetime, or even the lifetime of the millennium, Damascus will cease to exist, and it will be gone to dust, and there will be nothing there. It won't be rebuilt. It won't be re-inhabited. It'll be gone forevermore. Egypt, on the other hand, will be re-inhabited. People will return after 40 years, and people will get back in and start up Egypt, kind of where they left off, but there's going to be a good long building phase to that. So this is why I think that the rapture of the church will probably come as long as 40 plus years before the beginning of the tribulation. Look, the church rapture is not tied to anything. There's not a prophecy that has to be fulfilled before the church leaves. Not one. They're all done. There's not one thing except the rapture itself. I watched last night, someone just put on a little hypothetical event of how it would look like during the rapture of the church. And you got people in the church, and they were all younger people. There was one guy sitting on the very, very front row. Right behind the guy kept picking on him. And then the preacher was talking about one day the church would be raptured. And people had their feet up on pews and just on their, keyboards, on their iPhones and stuff like that. Wasn't paying attention to the preaching. And all of a sudden, there was such a loud, extremely loud trump blown that people, even on iPhones, dropped them and covered up. And other people that didn't have them hit the floor and covered up. And that one single person on the front row and the preacher, both of them vanished. The rest of the people were left behind. That's how quickly the rapture will occur. No notice, no warning, except the warnings you're receiving now. And the warnings are simply saying this: tomorrow may be too late. If you don't know Christ today, tonight, you may not be able to tomorrow. I mean, you will, but you'll pay for it with your life. Why not spend the next 7 to 40 years or 47 years in paradise? God is not going to beat up on all the Christians, give them black eyes, bust their lips, run them through a 30 or 40 foot long belt line where people are whipping them, and then say, "Welcome home, my bride." No, he's not going to let you get hurt. Not one of you, not one of us. We're not going to be abused. We're going to be taken up as we are. And then the pain, the falling away, then all these things that'll come upon this earth. In other words, hell on earth, and then it gets much worse in the last 7 years. And you don't want to be here. I don't. Jody Wolf, Expoz.